And hello, folks. I have no idea if anybody can hear me, if anything makes any sense, or if this potato is actually uploading anything to the internet, but if so, I'm trying to go live. And I am here with my buddies, Pete Mack and El Rodimus Flash. Hey guys, are you there? Can you hear me, or am I still barping?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
I can hear
Knock
you now.
twice for no. Hello? Anybody there?
Yeah, I tell you, man. Things right now are just running like complete and total crap in my casa. So I guess it's time that I'm going to have to actually burn some Biden bucks, get rid of the potato, and get something else. So just for folks that are at home that don't do streaming and stuff, it takes a couple of things. The software, set things up. You try and set things to where it's nice and all that, and then everything just goes to crap. So basically right now my PC is going, holy cow, what are you doing to me? And it says I'm streaming.
It
I
keeps
don't know.
killing Egon.
Yeah, exactly. I crossed the streams, man. I crossed the streams. Well, due to a suggestion by the by the lovely and talented Pete Mack, we're going to do Ghostbusters 2016 tonight, the Melissa McCarthy classic, and I'm sure everyone's going to love it. I'm waiting to hear the sound of vomiting from your end. Why are you leaving me hanging?
Campaign of 26.
No. We're doing the 1984 original, the real Ghostbusters, not the cartoon. So,
Yes.
The other real Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters.
yeah, the other real Ghostbusters. So, not to be confused with the
Real.
other cartoon named Ghostbusters. And God, what was it? There was like
And
three
not just
of them
the
named.
Ghostbusters, which was a live-action kids TV show and cartoon later on.
Yeah, there was so much crap going on in the 80s. It was hard to make sense of anything. I just knew when they finally switched it to the real Ghostbusters, you had something that looked semi like the Ghostbusters from the movie, except for Egon had a Brutus the Badass haircut. He had that little swirly thing.
Yeah.
Egon
There's
had
cannoli on his head or something.
Yes, I never understood that. So, but it was good enough. It worked mostly. So,
And Garfield was the voice of Venkman, so it was perfect.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And years
And
down
it's
the
actually
road.
better than the movie as far as the scripts go for a lot of.
Yeah, I
It
think
is.
so.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know when I was a kid, I dug watching them. And then later on, Bill Murray took over the voice of Garfield for the guy that took over his voice in the cartoon. So, it was a very incestuous
Circle was
relationship.
complete.
It all comes around.
The circle of life. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need scotch for this. So, yes. And
So if you were frozen in 1986 and you woke up in 2010 or whenever Garfield came out, you would have been really confused.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're like, wait, Garfield is Venkman, and now Venkman is Garfield? Or what?
Grab the cannoli and let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Leave the gun. Grab the cannoli. So,
Pardon? Is that a euphemism for something else?
well, yeah.
That's what Italians call a...
a half-hearted Godfather reference on a Ghostbusters stream. So,
Yeah.
But,
Hey, family friendly.
Yeah, well, mostly. Yeah, I did say Brutus the
Yeah.
Badass, which is part of a title, so I don't know if that really counts or not.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know. I usually work moderately blue anyway, so.
Oh, cheer up, buddy.
I know. Once I get rid of this potato and get a real PC, then yeah, I probably will. Then I'll be able to have sound and video, and all of my guests will show up on the stream.
It could
And
be
you'll have to-
worse. You could be like me and watch TV and computer stuff through your neighbor's window.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Now
a
that's
good
cheap.
point.
But well, you'll have to become a real YouTuber and talk about drama and
Well,
have pink lights in the background and a wall filled with Funk Pops.
Yeah,
well,
that's how
whatever.
it works.
Yeah, whatever gets me the clicks, man.
I love my fandom. Look at all of my Funko Pops to prove it.
Yes.
Look at my, look at my identical dolls. I have a soul.
I hate Ghostbusters. Check out all my new Ghostbusters toys, guys.
Look, guys,
I hate it.
Ghostbusters just wasn't made for you. You just need to know your role, step aside, and let the people that are true Ghostbusters fans enjoy them. Now here's my Funko Pop.
You know, this movie has too much trivia. I mean, there's like 3 pages of trivia on this movie on IMDb.
I can believe it.
Was
Between
I the only one as a child that was angry there were no toys of Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Well, there was eventually, but not quickly enough.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
because I'm sure they had no idea it would take off. Like, the song isn't really
No.
featured that much in the
No.
movie.
no,
Do you know what was the?
Because they're like, oh, this is like a movie for, people that like grown-up comedy. So
and of course, Ray Parker Jr.
I
had a
don't
little
think
bit of
we've
trouble
ever
with
had
Huey
any
Lewis in the
idea.
news.
Yeah.
Since they got sued for.
Oh
or
yeah,
he-
I want a new drug.
He got sued, yeah, because they stole the riff from I Want a New Drug. So, of course, not everybody's like George Lucas and thinks, I'll stick a toy on everything and then all the kids will want it. So, it worked
Yeah.
for him, but
Well, I just don't think they figured kids would be into it when they made the movie. They're like, this definitely isn't a kids thing. And then they're like, oh, wait, kids are the ones who are like going to see this multiple times.
yeah,
Yeah, and one of the things you notice is everybody smokes in this movie, and when they realized it was a family, it became really popular for kids. The second Ghostbusters movie, nobody smokes.
Oh yeah.
but everybody smoked in the 80s. I came out of the womb with a Marlboro in my hand. So, that's just how it worked back then. But yeah,
it's
interesting how things evolve through time. As I've gotten older, I've gotten to see some of the things. I'm like, what the crap? What were we thinking? Mainly with bell bottoms.
Yeah, there's some pretty awful. Yeah,
But I like Ghostbusters because it's one of those movies that's like a time capsule.
Yes.
Because it's
very
not
much.
glamorized New York. It's just like, yep, here's gray, brown New York.
Yes. Yes.
Here's everybody's ugly sweaters.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. I'll give them. It's not as bad as like Death Wish 3 New York, that kind of thing, but it's fairly dirty. But yeah, New York of the 70s and the 80s, ew. Now it's just ew.
Yeah. There's only 3 weeks. There's only 3 weeks filming in New York, actually.
No,
I hardly spent any time in New York with this movie.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of inside stuff. I
Yeah.
never really thought about that.
Yeah, but you get the New York Public Library. I'm trying to think. There's not. Now that I think about it, there's not a whole bunch of the scenes that were on the actual streets.
No, it's
So,
a lot of
yeah.
inside stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A couple of helicopter shots going over one of the bridges. And I'm sure somebody will slap me silly about not knowing which bridge. I'm wanting to say it's the George Washington Bridge, but I can't swear to it.
I think it was.
I haven't been to
isn't
New
it,
York in over 20 years now. So
Okay. Well, let me know when you're ready to roll.
I
We'll do
will.
the thing.
So are you guys set? You got your stuff queued up?
All right to go.
All right. Give me just a sec here.
I'm at the
Yes.
the lady with the light on her hand. The
All
not
right.
And
Statue
then
of
they get
Liberty.
the ooh.
Yeah. So for you all at home, I tried to throw it into the description, but this is kind of confusing. So down in the lower right hand corner, I'm going to have a TV that's going to, if the potato doesn't crash, it'll show at least parts of the movie as we're going through, so you'll have a rough idea of where we are. You will need your own copy of the movie. Copyright would get us struck immediately if we started running it, and YouTube bots would search us down and kill our firstborns. And if you really don't like your firstborn, that's not a terrible thing. But if you will get your copy of the movie, we're just this should be the standard theatrical version. We're going to start at the Columbia logo. So as soon as the Columbia logo comes on, if you you'll be at the right place. Pause it. I'll give a countdown from 3, and then once we're there, then we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. Hit your movie, and you'll be synced with us, and we'll give updates from time to time. You know what timestamp we're at. You know roughly what's going on to try and make sure that everybody stays synced up. Otherwise, we're going to. I'm going to get drunk, and while we go through the movie, and we'll try and laugh and talk about some of the crap and some of the memories we have from this. So, with that said, everybody synced up?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to get the TV on the stream ready. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. And we should be fairly close.
Did we
I
lose
think we
Ralph?
did. I just used my innate tempo.
No, I'm here. So sorry. Now we're coming in the New York Public
To hit the
Library.
play button. Isn't that
Did I overdo it to the potato? And we're pushing through. We have our lovely little lady. I believe her name is Alice.
was in that
Are you guys there? Oop, I'm not hearing anything from anybody. Did this... Oh, that pushed it over the edge.
that's robotic.
Okay, are you guys there now? Hello?
If he was playing a straight role that Margaret Dumont would have played.
And
Hang
it's
on a sec, guys. Please pardon the technical difficulties. Okay, are you guys there now? Do I got you? Do I got anyone? Anyone? Hello? And I got nothing. I see you guys talking.
sort of
Yeah. The like and
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
and you recognise Daryl Hannah there,
Daryl Hannah.
isn't it?
No.
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 Yeah,
Oh, hang on.
Her sister.
That's
I don't know
right.
who it is.
Yeah.
It is somebody though. I think she was married to somebody. She married to Dan Aykroyd or something like that.
Was she? That might be
Maybe.
right. Yeah.
I'm sure she's married to somebody. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Finally, yeah. Sorry. Had to do the Discord reset. Gotta love it. It's a lovely day. Yeah, as soon as I launched the movie, it potatoed. So. But I have an alternate plan. Hold on.
Yeah.
So talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, we're still on air though. Yeah.
Yeah. Still on air for the moment. Or at least supposedly we are. We'll see. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry.
This is.
I am so sorry on this.
Proves that pain does motivate ESP.
And there's the man who really believes in ghosts.
Yeah. So this was written by Dan Aykroyd and Ramis. And I think Rick Moranis was involved in it as well. In the writing, I mean, of course he's acting in it. But,
Okay, what timestamp are you guys at?
coming up on 6 minutes almost in 5 seconds.
See, movies are so efficient. They just jump right into it.
They do.
You got
Especially
a stinger.
this one.
You set up Venkman's entire character in one scene,
Mm-hmm.
and then you set up Ray completely, and we're on the mission. Let's go.
Well, do you know why it's so efficient? Because they don't have to tip the cap to about 100 different politically correct narratives.
Well, and Dan Aykroyd doesn't have to pause in a scene and can you hand me a Coca-Cola from the refrigerator? Or perhaps a refreshing Pepsi?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Why do you have a Coke machine in your office? No reason.
I need a
I also have a
VCR
Pac-Man machine over here.
Well, but hold on a minute. There is a Twinkie that comes up later.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I should have bought a
Stay
Twinkie.
puffed.
Did Hostess catch up with our boys?
I never noticed. Yeah.
You never noticed the Twinkie?
Harold Ramis. Yeah, I never noticed that Harold Ramis is sitting on the floor at that scene when they go in, and he's basically using a Walkman to test things with. That's all it is. But he decided to step. But there's a lot of last minute changes on.
Oh, here they are talking with Alice.
Yeah. History of madness in your family. My uncle thought he was Saint Jerome.
That's a big yes.
Bill Murray, Peter Venkman. It was actually supposed to be one of the options originally was John Belushi, because Dan Aykroyd started writing this a long time ago, and while John was still alive, and and that's why the ghost. Everybody on the cast knew that the ghost of Slimer is actually the ghost of John Belushi.
Oh, that's kind of terrifying when you think about it.
Oh, when I was a kid, I really wanted one of those. What do they call them? Those
Yeah.
detectors.
Oh, what?
Really wanted one of those.
What's it? A PK meter?
Oh, what is that called?
PK
PKE
meter. Yeah.
The most reused prop from this movie is that, because it's in like almost every
Yeah.
science fiction movie.
It is.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
And
think
a few before
this movie was unique because it sort of made it look credible, because all of their equipment is like real sort of pseudo engineered stuff that looks real.
Yeah, it looks like
You
he
know?
went to a Radio Shack and built it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now I got to throw this in too. No. Oh, I love that. Quiet. Listen. Do you smell something? It's like, listen, smell something. What? I'm a fan of the camcorder they're using, because that is period accurate.
Yeah.
Where you are lugging a VCR under your armpit while you're carrying the camera connected by a big cable. It's so much different than
This ectoplasm is Chinese cornstarch.
Oh, really?
You know, when you go for those
K-Ro.
sweet corn and crab soups,
Oh,
Chinese
okay.
restaurant. That's what. It's ectoplasm.
It's
Yeah, sweet and sour
disgusting
chicken
as
without
everything.
the sweet and sour added.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many people that will watch this stream will sit down and say, what were all those cards?
You know, we were just talking about that last night on
Yeah.
Edwin's stream of who remembers the Dewey Decimal System.
You must know the
I
Dewey
didn't
Decimal
even think
System.
about that.
You do not
For me,
know
it's
the
just that I
Dewey
didn't even
Decimal
realize it's just
System.
yeah.
No, I
Kids will
remember
think, why?
going in, like, with a notepad and having to write down the numbers
Yeah.
to find the book somewhere in a
Yep.
giant library.
Oh, yes.
And
And I
but
remember
how
in school
great-
being taught the Dewey Decimal System.
yeah. Here we go. Here's the
Now it's
ghost.
meaningless. All of my learning
It
has
is.
been nothing.
It's real.
Here's the librarian ghost.
What do we do now? And the realization that, oh, we didn't plan that far ahead.
We had an idea, but never thought it through.
Yeah, I love it. It's like figuring out the calculator.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
original.
I think I'm slightly behind you guys here.
I just love because she's like just an echo of a librarian.
Oh, and it absolutely makes sense. Yeah, you're in a library. She wants you to be quiet.
Well, it's the Dawn of the Dead thing where every zombie had an occupation.
Yeah. They just
Like
kept
all the
doing
ghosts
what
have
they
their
did
own
before.
story.
Now that special effect was brilliant when it first came out, wasn't it? It's still pretty good now.
Yeah, that morph that's not even a morph looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, everything in here is practical effects, and that's why I love practical effects. This holds up better. Well, I'm sorry, not everything in here, because there are a few blue screen things that are terrible, but the practical effects have held up amazingly.
Yeah, well, the lighting is impossible to get right. It's impossible to match like the street lighting with the puppets or whatever they're making. But they do a good job.
Yeah,
And
Like,
this
as
is
good as could be done.
this is like classic 1980s fantasy adventure, isn't it? It's you know, ghosts and goblins and alternative dimensions and a bit of Cthulhu thrown in, and
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, with just
Just-
enough technical
It's
gobbledygook
probably one of the
on
most
top.
important movies in the 80s, really, for pop culture. If not, this was the highest grossing movie until Home Alone in 1990.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I remember it was like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing 10 people wearing a Ghostbusters t-shirt.
Oh
And do you
yeah.
know it was one of the first movies to do like a viral campaign beforehand? They actually, the advert that you see in the movie, that was actually released beforehand and afterwards as well.
Well,
And people actually did ring in after they'd seen the movie, and they were getting like 1,000 calls a day for like 3 or 4 weeks. People ringing in, and they got a recorded message with Bill Murray just saying, "Hi, we're out catching ghosts right now."
oh, that's brilliant.
De Venkman. Who was it? William Atherton plays Walter Peck in this movie, who we meet later, and he actually was angry for 10 years with the director because everywhere he went, everywhere he couldn't get into bars or restaurants or anything. Everybody hated him and called him Dickless. So this movie was probably the worst thing he ever did. And then he portrayed exactly the same character in Die Hard, remember?
Well, he just it's just a testament to what a good job he did that people hated him so much.
And does anybody else, when they watch that bit, where think that Bill Murray's about to break out in song? And it's actually a musical.
Oh man, I'm so glad they didn't go with the musical. But yeah, the music's swelling in the background.
See, kids loved this movie when it came out, but here they're just swigging booze on the street like winos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everybody has 3 mortgages at 19% interest. Uh-oh, we lost Flash.
Oh, we lost. He'll be back. He's back.
Yep, here he comes.
I'm back. So I'm up to, well, in almost 10 seconds, I'll be up at 16 minutes.
Okay,
in 10 seconds.
I am at 15:54.
I'm up to the fire department.
Yeah, they're just doing the walk.
I think I'm slightly ahead. I'm now gone just 16 minutes now,
Yeah, they are just now doing the original walk.
I love this line.
Fire station.
And the neighborhood's like a demilitarized zone.
Yep.
And this, where is this fire station?
There it is. At least the exterior is in New York. Of course, now it's a tourist attraction in New York.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sure. I love the idea of the scientist, the PhD, asking, "Does the pole still work?" It's a pole.
Yeah.
Apparently, after Harold Ramis died, fans of the movie paid tribute by visiting that firehouse and created a makeshift memorial featuring a Nestle's Crunch bars, which is like when Venkman's just handed him a candy bar just before, and they made a huge Twinkie as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the thing. Harold Ramis, him playing the oddball straight man in this. I just all the 3 main ones.
Can I ask a question as well?
Yeah.
Throughout the 80s, if you wanted a classy chick, she always had to be a cellist. Why was that?
Have to be a what?
Oh, yeah,
This
you're always
movie,
in an
Money
orchestra.
Pit, the James Bond movie. There's like 4 movies where they all got a damn cello.
It's true.
I just picked up on
I think it's the same
like,
reason
I'm classy because I play the cello.
protagonists are always writers. Because people assume, like, well, if she's a cellist in an orchestra, it means she works 1 night a week. So she has plenty of time for adventure in a movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, of
And
course.
it's the same with it. Everyone's always an author or a writer because it's like, oh, I just got the advance on my book, so I can take this long vacation where I do nothing except have an adventure in this movie.
Oh, well, yeah, because
You know
everyone
what?
knows
I mean,
writers. Jeez.
uh, she wasn't that sexy in Alien, but and she did this movie. It was like, goddamn, Sigourney Weaver is actually quite good looking.
She became a sex symbol after this
Yeah.
war.
Delusion
Harold
Boys?
Ramis, sorry, Rick Moranis. There, Rick Moranis, genius who co-wrote the movie, and we watched Strange Brew, didn't we? And a lot of what he does here is totally ad lib. The salmon buffet scene is completely ad lib, all off the top of his head.
We're ready to believe you. And was that a 555 number?
Of course, yeah, the 555, and people did ring the number.
Yeah. Well, see.
What's going to happen here, gentlemen?
Uh-oh.
Jello. Look out the Jello.
Oh, no. Stay away, Dana. Stay away.
And there's take off the gun.
Eggs.
And notice the marshmallows are
Stay
Stay Puft.
Puft. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know why else these movies were so efficient? Because they weren't calling back to older movies. They weren't like, remember this scene from this other movie that we're remaking?
You know what? They should have known the future and did a scene saying, "Hey, do you remember?" Actually, no. Let's not remember because we're not going to do that. This is original. There we go. This is what happens when Ralph goes for a Cassis beer.
It's time for Jello. You'll see.
Only when you open up my fridge, it goes PBR.
Apparently, Sigourney Weaver once had an actual fire in her
5?
apartment. Whoa, you better call the Ghostbusters.
There's my dream car.
It was supposed to be black originally, for the movie, but they decided to paint it white because basically you wouldn't have seen the car because most of the film was in the darkness at night.
Oh, and it's a service vehicle, so they're all painted white.
Like an ambulance.
Yeah, I agree. White was definitely
Here
a
is-
better choice.
We got one! Annie Potts playing Janine Melnitz.
Didn't they sex her up in the second one?
Yeah. The size
Like
of
they're
those
like
glasses,
glasses
gentlemen.
on, fancy hairdo.
Do you remember those glasses?
Yes.
Okay, it's the
Jeffrey Dahmer?
1980s because everybody's got giant glasses.
The Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. Look at me, Dr. Venkman. I look like a serial killer from the Midwest.
And to anybody who's wondering, this thing on the left-hand side is a phone.
Oh, yes.
You
And
pick it up and you dial it with a round dial or
and the
buttons.
Oh, and the thing on the right is a computer monitor.
Oh, and
And
next
that is
to
a filing cabinet
and next to the computer
for
monitor
paper.
is the computer.
And that monitor only has the color green.
Yes, which is better for your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, help us all. Yes.
And here she is, Dana Barrett. The music for this is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. I love the slight echo on all of it as well. That makes you feel slightly weird. There's a very slight echo on all the soundtrack.
Yeah. You know what? I had the soundtrack. I believe this is actually, you hear little hints of the strings, and that's Dana's theme underneath it.
Mm.
Elmer Bernstein.
Oh, is
With
he who did
pedigree.
this? Okay.
Bernstein, who did a lot of... Didn't he do like Stripes and he did like Spies Like Us and stuff like that?
I don't know. I would look it up, but the potato is currently cratered.
Totally 80s perm there. Wow. Do you know what? I really do actually miss the 80s.
Oh, I miss the 80s so much. I love the 3,000 lumen headlamp that Egon has there.
Like
Mhm.
really hit the mark, you know.
Here we
I
go.
think this is really what started the cosmic horror boom.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
because
as a
it's like
kid,
Oh,
the
but
cartoon is what introduced me to H.P. Lovecraft.
yeah, and the character you don't see the character of the architect who designs the building, but
Mm-hmm.
he's very much supposed to be like a Lovecraft, their version of Lovecraft.
Yeah, like a Lovecraft type villain.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
a modern day necromancer who went too
this
far.
building's unbelievable.
yeah. Well, and sticking to that as well, they introduced Tobin's Spirit Guide, which the cartoon runs with wildly. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to
This is
think.
the standard outfit of the 1980s cool guy: tweed jacket and trousers with suede shoes.
Oh yes.
The sweater.
Who was it? Oh yeah, John Belushi was supposed to play this role, but they also considered Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
He
isn't
backed
it
out.
a great thing that he turned it down at the last minute?
Yeah,
Thank
and there
goodness
was
he did.
another person who turned it down. Dan Aykroyd turned down the role of that was originally played by of Winston, originally played by Ernie Hudson. And the reason Ernie doesn't appear until halfway through the movie is because they cut the role right down. It was like, oh well, we couldn't get Eddie, so we've got this other guy, so let's not bother.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie turned it down because he was going to play. He got the role of Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, well, I thought for
I
sure
was
it
gonna
would
say
have been.
this would be right when he was like big with that and 48 Hours.
Yeah,
Yeah. What was that awful movie that he was in with the tank that just about destroyed his career?
I believe
him.
that's called Tank. No, that's James Garner or James Garnier, the
Oh,
shampoo.
yeah.
magnet.
Oh,
Uh,
now that was a movie.
I know what you're
remember.
talking about. It's Eddie Murphy
Dudley
and
Moore.
Dudley Moore.
Yeah. Something weapon.
We saw that in the theater when I was a kid. That's you. You reminded me of that nightmare.
You,
oh look,
you were
original Coke cans.
It was probably just you and your mom in the theater, right? Nobody else, I think, saw it in the
My
United
dad
States.
took us to it, and I think
Perrier
it was
water.
crowded because people were like, Eddie Murphy was the hottest thing at the moment, but it wasn't stand up or SNL Eddie Murphy. It was PG rated, like tame Eddie Murphy,
Yes.
and it wasn't
Well,
like the Arthur version of Dudley Moore. It was
No.
like boring Dudley Moore.
I think boring is the prime word.
There's
for
only a
that
product
movie.
placement there, by the way. In the fridge.
Well, yeah, you got Coca-Cola, Perrier. I saw Cheez-Its.
Ralph, should we explain for the youngsters? The thing on the left hand side is a television.
Oh, yeah, you might see one of those over in your grandmother's place. And that thing that
with
was
another
sitting...
television on top of it.
Yes, exactly. and you might... That thing that was on the end table there, that's a modeling hand. Most people use them when they're drawing as a reference, although everyone, including
Because
myself,
It shows
puts
that
the middle
Dana Barrett
finger
is
up.
artistic.
Of course. Mainly because she
because
didn't
Matt
strike
in
the
the
middle
chat.
finger up.
And I believe that's a modeling hand of Andre the Giant on that table.
Now, this is the only movie that I think Cosmetti would watch because it's mildly horror.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is the only one that would would be anywhere in her ballpark.
He's an absolute comic genius, Rick Moranis. Absolute genius.
Oh, absolutely. Rick Moranis
You know,
is great.
it's ironic, isn't that a lot of the great comedians in American movies are actually Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say, though? Is there something, you've got to have a good sense of humor to live in Canada?
We could pay them in Canadian dollars.
Something like that.
Just pay them in moose jerky or something.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I'll buy you a cheap cabin in the woods. How's that for your pay?
Here we go. Here's the line. Here's the line coming up.
Just give me the address.
Thank you. What is this? I love the way they've got arcade machines in there. Totally unnecessary, but they've bought them.
For guys that haven't gotten a job yet, they're doing pretty well to have all this stuff in their living space.
Do you know why they chose this place? It was purely because they could go down the pole. That's the only reason
Oh, yeah.
they did it. Here we go. Ecto 1. Meow, meow.
And there it is, hero shot of the car.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because Dan Aykroyd's like, I'm going to make this a new Batmobile. Watch.
You know, these cars, you can still buy them, but they are so expensive
Oh, yeah.
because of this movie.
I
Yeah,
love,
that year is
I love the Ender Crank
because
frame
the
rate on that.
people that turned them into Ecto ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're actually
But they're
ambulances,
not
aren't
terribly.
Yes. Yeah,
Expensive.
they're like ambulances
They're
from
just,
the 60s.
And they're pretty reliable. They run pretty
they?
solid.
Because Matty
Low
says,
maintenance, but
Ralph,
they eat gas
Ralph,
like nothing else because they weigh more than a fire truck.
Oh,
Matty says Ralph the Ghostbuster is fab. As you noticed as well, that the No Ghosts logo is also Ralph.
oh, yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that. I was playing around with
This
some
is
other things,
the-
but
Please be discreet and don't cause any damage.
oh, what
This is
timestamp you
coming
guys
up as
at?
the line of we've got like what's the quote? Three nuclear thermonuclear devices strapped to my back.
Oh, yes.
That must be a
What are you guys,
some
cosmonauts?
cockroach. I'll take the next. That should have been
I'll take the next one.
playing that guy at the elevator. It should have been Rodney Dangerfield, really.
Oh,
Here's my favorite scene in the whole movie,
Yeah, this is
where
it.
he mentions that it's a nuclear device and they all step away from each other.
Yeah, which has been copied so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just
I so much wanted one of those backpacks as well.
just the
Oh
timing
man, I
in
really
this
wanted one of
scene,
those when I was a kid.
the uncomfortable look they've got, how they move, it's great.
Yeah. You know why? Because those packs were actually really
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh yeah.
But you got to figure they probably had like a small like motorcycle battery just to run the lights in them.
Hey,
Like it's practical.
what timestamp you guys got? 31, 32?
They just got
32
the
now. Just got
toilet
32.
Okay.
Sorry.
They just destroyed 2020.
Sorry.
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 They just blew up the poor cleaning lady's cart.
Was
Oh,
it Industrial Light and Magic that did the effects on this?
I believe so. And I forget the guy's name that did the practical effects.
It was
Is that-
ILM,
Yeah.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, but who was the?
Is it Dykstra?
I don't think it was
Mhm.
Dykstra. Oh, I'm so frustrated.
But by
with
the way,
potato.
the cigarette stuck to his lip is not glued. That is saliva holding that on. It
Oh,
just
yes.
worked.
It's the beauty, the beauty of back when everybody smoked, man.
Yeah, you just went with it. So there's John Belushi's ghost.
A disgusting blob.
It's Hunter Biden, actually.
And the first throw from the proton pack.
Yeah.
And notice
I just love
Slimer
the
takes
way
the
he's
food
guzzling
with
the
him.
food down and it's just going straight through him because obviously he's a ghost.
I love Harold checking this guy.
Here we go.
Oh, here we yes.
So the student at the beginning is a staple of like a lot of like always hot blonde in movie through the 80s. And she
Yes.
was married to a corpsman who was
Ah.
Roger Corman's nephew.
Ah.
Or yeah, her husband is Roger Corman's nephew.
Finkman.
Ah.
Finkman.
And the most quoted
one
line
of
of the
scenes in
80s.
movie.
He's slimy.
He wants to collect it. Bobby.
Okay, they're heading to the ballroom now.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
And this scene's sort of copied in Ghostbusters 2, isn't it? When they're in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same scene in the second movie.
Nice little binoculars, cardboard cutout for the camera. That's the one that got me.
The best line in the movie, according to the 100 greatest movie lines, it's the dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yes. I have to say my favorite line was always when the mayor is like, "Is this true?" And Vinkman says, "Yes, Your Honor. This man has no dick."
Yeah. Don't cross the streams.
It would be bad.
This is great.
Oh, total platonic reversal.
In the original script for this, when he first got the idea, it was supposed to be set in the distant future, like a standard thing, like plumbers. The world was coming to an end. It was like the end days, and there were spirits everywhere.
Sorry, got a little bit of roboting on my end. Love all the chaos outside the room. We're coming up on one of my personal favorites too. Don't look at the trap. I looked at the trap, Ray. Whoop, hold on guys, I'm not hearing you. One sec, let me restart voice meter. Okay, are we
this is
back?
blackmail.
And we're back.
Ghostmail.
Okay. Sorry, guys. For folks
Yeah.
listening in on the stream,
And this is
I apologize. We had a
This is
bit of a
the
Discord problem.
montage.
You know, just like Dana Barrett, I also dress up in tights.
Jesus.
Ghost Fever grips New York.
USA Today, very well respected. Burnout headlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Oh,
actually
Larry
pretty.
King.
Oh, yes, yes.
Forever 99, Larry King.
Larry King when he was only 149 instead of 249.
Exactly.
Smoking a cigarette.
All right, I'm going into my second round of scotch, and I apologize to folks in the chat. I'm not able to keep it up. I am in full-on potato right now. I apologize. And Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Dude, this
Pretty
is...
pesky poltergeist.
Now, on with the countdown.
Here's a special request going from Chad to Gina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And the globe. The Ghostbusters super diet. All right, here's one of
this
the most
Ghost
uncomfortable
Dream thing was supposed to be a
scenes.
lot longer. Yeah, this is supposed to be a family-friendly movie.
Friendly. Close your eyes, kids.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing Michael
Yeah.
Jackson's jacket?
This is
I don't
1984
understand
PG, which is today's.
I don't know. This is.
PG-13.
I remember as a kid watching this thinking, I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Here he is.
In comes Winston Zeddemore.
So Ernie Hudson had a love-hate relationship with the movie because he knew he was just like a cheap stand-in for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, but this line. If there's a
Yep.
steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say. Great line.
That's a motto of Comicsgate, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there you go. If there's a steady grift in it.
If there's a super chat in it, I'm in.
That's right. Great, you're hired. Yeah, and the thing is I love this movie so much. And Ghostbusters Afterlife is coming out later this year. I don't want them to screw it up. I'm hoping and praying that they do it right.
Yeah.
Well, the Bernstein soundtrack really beefs this movie up, I think. You know, and this stuff was original. It wasn't rehashed corporate crap.
No,
This
no,
is, you know.
absolutely. And that's the thing is it's got so many different things. You know, you've got from the quirky little ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da when they're doing their regular stuff to the lovely strings. Yeah, it's great. It
Well,
comes
this
in.
is the time
Yeah.
when
And it's-
soundtracks became half of the movie, because it's like
Yeah.
after Star Wars, where it was like, hey,
This is it.
every character has their own sound.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own motif and everything. And you know what? It fits comedy, horror, sci-fi, romance, action, all those genres in the same movie, and it works. It doesn't fall apart. You don't get movies doing that now.
No, because people
No.
try to do it. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're trying to recreate it, and it's like, they weren't trying to create. They were just trying to make a movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of going out and trying to do their own thing, they're trying to recreate something that was
Uh-huh.
just unrecreatable. You know.
And they're trying to study it like you would for like business numbers. We're like, okay, they did this, so we got to hit this pay. They got to hit this, we got to hit this because they did these two things.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Like,
what he
Yeah,
said in the
you're
because what he
leaving
said in the
out these
chat,
thing called
this is
lightning
the
in a bottle.
hungry green goblin thing coming up. I think she's talking about maybe Biden. I don't know. Maybe.
hungry green
But
goblin.
I don't know.
Because yeah, we're right now we're at the
If it
water
was a
fountain
spazzy
scene.
goblin with no brain.
Dana is just walking away, and my timestamp is 44
Yeah.
50.
Almost 45 minutes as Sigourney Weaver walks away with the Kevin Bacon stand-in.
Now, if Kevin Bacon had been in this movie, it would have been just peak 80s.
And again, look when he does this, and the music starts, and he's twirling like this. And again, you think there's a song going to start. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's like a joke in the movie. Like, they're trying to make you think it's going to be a musical.
Oh my gosh, yeah, if he'd broken out with "The streets are alive with nothing but ghosts."
The smell of ghosts.
The light is green.
Trap is clean.
There you go.
I can't believe I haven't watched this movie in years, and I can remember all the lines. Here he is.
Oh yes, Mr. Pecker.
William Atherton playing Walter Peck. You know what? This really makes me want to watch Ghostbusters 2 immediately afterward as well.
You
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, true. It's nowhere near as good.
I did that when I found this DVD, and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch the second one because it was a 2-pack.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why was it a 2-pack? This is so sad.
I've just noticed, you know that map of Manhattan behind him? I've just noticed that the island of Manhattan looks like a dong.
Yes, many things in the United States
That's
look
why
like
it
a
was
dong.
attacked on 9/11.
I don't know why it is that the United States is very dong oriented. We have Florida, which is the
There's a lot of
dong the
dongs.
South.
The most famous one being Florida.
Yes, exactly.
America's wing.
Long Island is a. I should stop now because when he's stream.
Yeah. You start moving into Texas,
Other
and you're
stuff.
moving into taint territory.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
yeah.
You did not use the magic word.
The magic word.
Oh, Venkman likes Wise potato chips. I've lost all respect for him now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Another product placement. We're on to
All
you.
burned.
Massive hazard. Yeah. Nuclear.
Yeah, it's just some plutonium. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
We keep it in an old refrigerator in the basement. We're good.
Plutonium
Yeah.
featured in a lot of 1980s movies, isn't it? Remember Doc Brown saying,
Yep. Plutonium.
"This requires plutonium."
yeah.
I don't know about the
80s.
future,
Yeah.
but here in 1955, we can't just get plutonium from any corner drugstore.
Yeah, you got to understand. Late 80s, or I'm sorry, middle 80s like this, everything was nuclear. Late 80s into early
Like-
90s, everything was computer.
Wasn't the movie of the Toxic Avenger done at this time as well?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that'd be like
what
around
year.
this time.
was it?
86, 87 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
know.
just had the line about the giant Twinkie. That's one big
Oh,
Twinkie.
and this is the same year that the most famous toxic people came out, the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, did they come out in 84?
Yeah.
Were a byproduct of nuclear waste.
I remember watching that. I thought it was. I remember laughing in the audience when I saw the. When I saw it's Splinter the rat, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like doing it was just a tiny little rat puppet. It was done so badly. He was in the cage like copying the moves of his master, and it was so badly done. I just burst out in really
Still
loud
got a whole
laughter. And,
Muppet.
yeah, I spoiled the movie for everybody.
Oh, dude, that's the beauty. Terrible rubber monsters and little puppets. That's what I love about. That's why I love 80s horror. Sci-fi is pretty good, but 80s horror with guys in rubber suits and terrible puppets.
Yeah.
That's my jam,
Yeah.
man.
This whole scene, right, where Rick Moranis goes back into the thing and talks about, his tax write-offs and everything.
Oh,
The
yes.
entire thing, how he does this, I don't know. The entire thing is ad-lib. It's not scripted at all. And
Oh,
he goes
really?
in and talks to everybody.
See, I love that she can never get past his door without him hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the dog.
Yes, exactly.
Dana's here.
I wish Rick. Why wasn't? Do you think Rick Moranis was originally supposed to be in Three Amigos?
He would
I
have
think
been,
he was possibly.
he would have. I don't know, but he would have done very well as the
Maybe.
Martin Short character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have much rather had him.
So
than
the
Chevy
Terror
Chase.
Dogs, they were based on sculptures outside of Philadelphia Church.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
They really exist. Ooh.
Now we get a little bit of Sigourney Weaver leg. Oh, and for you kids at home, that's what phones used to sound like.
And this is a typical 1980s girl's apartment.
Oh yeah, in New York.
Whoa! This is
Yeah.
this is like Amish porn. What's going on?
Yeah. All right, now truth be told, in the 1980s, a cellist would probably have an apartment about the size of my bunker, which is 6 feet by 6 feet.
And where?
Toilet in the kitchen.
Under her clothes? What's that about? How cold is it in the orchestra?
Dude, you got to be ready for jazzercises any moment.
Yeah.
I remember being totally freaked out by these hands that come out of the seats. This was Close Encounters they ripped off for this, the light coming through the door.
Yeah, now there's one thing I have to point out with the hands. Keep an eye out for the one that grabs cops a feel of Miss Dana Barrett. when it
I
hits.
know. I remember that. Was, what's his name involved in this movie? What's the guy's name?
Oh,
A Weinstein production.
Weinstein. Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein. Now,
One
see-
of the Steens.
Yeah, now this practical effect,
Grabstein.
they got smoke, they got a practical dog, looks good.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with this, very happy.
Mhm.
Things like this make me happy.
And I like the way that there's several different arms of different types.
Yes, exactly. All this, good. Love all this. Perfect. Holds up. Will hold up for another 100 years. Oh my gosh. You see
This is it.
acetylsalicylic acid? Yes.
This is ad lib, believe it or not.
This has to be based on someone he knew.
Oh, it would have to be.
Because it's like, this is how people like that talk.
I love that he invited
This is the
clients
1980s
instead
version of
Fred's.
Facebook. It says, "Hey everybody, I invited you all over. I don't really like you, but I'm going to make some money out of you."
Exactly.
Did I
It's
say
going
Facebook? I meant
inferno.
CG.
Yeah, same thing.
Hello there, Ted and Annette.
Yeah, you see, I love it.
These
Moranis
these
is
effects,
just such,
mind,
he's
are
such a
really well
genius.
done for the era.
Okay,
I mean,
now
you can tell it's not so good now, but it's stop animation, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, but see, this is the part where I get sad because this is the one that just doesn't hold up. You know, the practical Yeah,
Mhm.
he's
That's
just a
true.
dog laying in the
But
floor.
it's still so good. Like you go back and watch when it goes through the door and hits the
That bit's
wall with
good.
its head, its
Yeah.
whole body like
Yeah, it's
crunching.
really
Yeah.
fast.
It's so realistic.
Yeah, they did it as great as they could for the 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that like see there it looks good when it comes
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
Yeah,
The lighting matches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
exactly.
inside the lighting is completely
Maybe if they'd been able to hide it a little bit more, a little bit darker, it would be great. But
yeah.
and
you
this
know,
brilliant contrast with
Yeah, the
the
bright light, the bright white walls and bright lights really don't help the puppet
yeah.
blend.
Now, okay, now hold on. This is the most New York scene. If you've ever been to New York,
yes,
Mhm.
this is exactly what it's like. So we're gonna soak this
This is
in.
the most
Yes,
real light
'cause
scene when
they just think
anything
he's a
terrible
nut
is
and they
happening
don't
to
give
you
a
in
shit.
public.
You're right. They don't. And yeah, you'll have somebody screaming at the window of wherever you're at for no reason.
That's it. They just go
And
back
right back to it.
Sorry, like, oh, he's gone now.
Guys, yeah, this is
Whew,
this.
he's not going to ask us for change when we leave. Thank God.
Exactly. Okay, my.
Oh, there it is. Punk rocker on street. Girl with
Ooh,
pink hair.
punk rocker on street.
You know it's the
yes.
80s.
Now
One punk rocker.
Yeah.
I want to share with you guys when I was in New York. Actually, I think I've only been once. Get on the subway, everything's cool. We're in the car, everything's great. As soon as the car takes off, one guy stands up and starts walking through, and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. We're getting ready to die. Nope, he's just panhandling. And he made sure that as soon as the doors closed, he started panhandling. It's like, dude, get lost, man.
As soon as the cops can't get him, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get away from him. The cops can't get him. Okay, he's going to panhandle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the key master?
There's
Hey, Flash, are you the key master?
there's a weird, wacky theory, that the dawn number 2206 is supposed to be June 2026, when the world's supposed to come to an end.
Yeah,
I read that somewhere.
you gotta love stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's the ectoplasm everywhere.
What are we doing today, Zoo?
Keymaster.
Goes are the destructor. Okay, sorry, I'm a couple of scotches in.
And it's only until you get older that you recognize the significance of Keymaster and Gatekeeper.
Yes. For those of you keeping
No.
track at home, we're at right at 57 minutes. And now.
Yeah, just hits 57 minutes.
Yep. And Ralph is 2 scotches in and about to open up a Monster Dragon tea, which tastes a lot like cat butt.
Do
Don't ask me how I know.
you want to know how the special effects done for the floating Sigourney?
Yes, I would.
Full body cast attached to a post hidden in the curtains.
Oh,
No,
nice.
so basically just a magician's trick.
Just a Broadway stage show trick.
Yeah. And see, now we see Venkman as an honorable man because he won't rape a woman.
Yes. Because I tell you what,
He won't
earlier on
have
in the
sex with a
movies,
drunk girl. He's a good
Yeah.
man.
This is really the my girlfriend's had too much to drink and we've come home and I'm going to be the gentleman scene. This is really what this is.
Yeah.
yeah, because
Well, it redeems him too because I mean, he seems really trashy in the first scene.
yeah,
Then you're
yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
he's
Gentleman.
a decent guy.
yeah, exactly.
I love
after
that new voice.
After the first trip through the apartment, I thought, yeah, he'd be Roofie City, but no. You've got a great point. Got a great singing voice.
Well, you had
Zulu.
Roofie City apartment visit, and then you had the hitting on the student.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a horse tranquilizer with him, so I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
never
do you
noticed
know it was
prosthetic
Ivan Reitman who
before.
did the voice? So, where she says only Zool, that's actually Ivan Reitman.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
That's how he directed people. He's like, get back to work.
I
Cut.
Get away from the
could have
catering.
on Chevy Chase. Damn that Eddie Murphy.
Check the gate. Is it clear? Action.
Everybody back to one.
Bill, please do that scene again.
It sounds like why is there just a random like steel drum thing there? Why is that there?
Faster,
That was a thing
more
back then.
intense. Oh, dude, yeah,
That was New York in the 80s.
Yeah,
there were all
it's
street
New York.
performers and then the steel
What?
drum.
Yeah.
That's it. They'll set up steel drums. They'll set up steel drums somewhere
You know, the
down
sad
in
thing
down
is
in
the
the
steel
subways.
drums
They'll
are
have a
replaced
suitcase
with
open.
5-gallon buckets.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And all of them have something, a guitar case, something for you to throw money into. They're all about that.
Mm-hmm.
That visual effect there that they did for his eyes is just obviously CGI, well, special effect. But the woman who played, Goza, he was a Polish actress called Slavica Jovan, and she had to wear red contact lenses that were extremely painful.
Oh,
yeah.
so. Those were full eye contact lenses.
Yep. That's
Dropping
why
off
in
dropping
Return of
off
the
of
Jedi,
picking
the
up.
Emperor's eyes are done by hand because he couldn't wear contacts.
Yeah, the actor Ian McDiarmid.
Mm-hmm. Because they basically would have killed him to have the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Well, occasionally these things happen, don't they? Because I remember I did a movie watch of Beastmaster, and they wanted a puma or something, and the pumas are notoriously really touchy, so they got a tiger and painted it black
Oh,
because they
yeah.
were easy to train, and the tiger died of poisoning from the paint.
Oh,
Don't tell me
really?
that.
It's awful.
You
Yeah,
ruined my
dude.
favorite childhood memory.
Yes,
Well,
the tiger
yeah.
died.
You were
First
forced-
Kodo and Kodo, now the tiger.
Yeah,
What's
you were
next?
forced to love Beastmaster in the 80s because that's all HBO showed,
Yes.
in the afternoon,
Yeah.
It was the only thing on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yes. It's like, oh, Beastmaster
right after
for
wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Between
So-
morning wrestling and
Yeah, that's what it stood
evening
for.
wrestling, there was the Beefmaster. On the Superstation, TBS. At 11:35, Beastmaster. 2:35, Beastmaster 2,
Beastmaster.
the recordable time.
I love
And
this.
at 4:45, Beastmaster again.
swore.
Yeah, no, I love the
Ted Turner
repurposed
loved
colander here.
Beastmaster.
This is
Oh.
included in the 1001 movies to see before you die as well. The best line out is when they offer him a cup of coffee and he says, "Yes, have some."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's right. The line I always remember. Yes, have some.
The more I see of the 80s stuff that had Rick Moranis, the more I miss him. That man,
Yeah.
I did not appreciate
And the more
his
you think,
genius in
man, he
the
didn't
80s.
do enough.
No, exactly. You go back through Strange Brew, you go back through Spaceballs, you go through this. There's so many things, and he just had such great comedic timing.
And I remember him really from SCTV being on, like the reruns of it.
Oh, yeah.
Just so good.
SCTV, he was great on.
The elevator goes up, the elevator goes down.
Well, and that comes back to, like Pete was talking about, all the best American comedians are Canadian.
Yeah. From 1980 to 1989, every American comedian was Canadian.
SCTV. They all work together on SCTV.
Uh-huh.
And
Quick
John
point.
Candy was the alternative for Rick Moranis' character.
Oh, John Candy was great.
But, he had some weird ideas about the character, so they turned him down. I like the way in this movie all about ghosts, you get a really Bible believing guy who's, I love Jesus style.
Yeah. Although I think the quote
Beer.
from Revelation
Yeah.
isn't quite accurate.
That sash.
There you go, and it's supposed to be based around the end of the world, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
now you wouldn't even get that, you know. And Rick Moranis is quoting from Revelation. There's no way you'd get that in any movie now.
Oh no, no.
No. No, you would do the Quentin Tarantino and you make up Bible verses.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Ezekiel 27:99. And righteous man.
-5.
Although I got to give
And
it.
of course, to this day, there will be people that'll tell you that's in the Bible because it was in a movie.
Yeah. It's like, no, go back.
And
He
then you
quotes
have,
the
look that
verse.
up for me. Then they look it up, and you'll see their whole composure just melt.
this scene
yeah.
across it's a Brooklyn Bridge. I'm sure that isn't that the Brooklyn Bridge?
Oh, too soon.
Yeah,
Twin Towers. Oh no.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
that was in
another thing.
every movie, though, wasn't it?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. That's
Well,
how you knew you're in
couldn't-
New York.
You
Yeah.
couldn't
Empire
avoid
State
it.
Building, Chrysler Building, Twin Towers, and Statue of Liberty, New York.
Okay.
By the way, the watches
Or
that they're all
Metropolis.
wearing are Seikos. In the 80s, all of the digital watches had a gimmick. Like the Seikos ones they're using had a little microphone. You could record little memos. I had one that played like, remember they used to be able to play little tunes and everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I remember
The
the ones
Casio
that
ones.
you could
Bob
play
had
Pac-Man
should shoot
on.
grappling hooks and lasers.
No, so I seriously remember the ones you could play Pac-Man on, and I wanted one desperately. Never got it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember the
was great.
Transformer watches?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
The
do.
watch that actually turned into a little robot.
Because Matty says he makes up Bible verses.
He
It
makes
does.
up, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Tarantino.
Yeah,
The most famous line in that movie.
It's
Yeah,
totally fictitious.
The thing about that one is he gave the chapter and verse, and yeah, there's bits and pieces of it in there, but
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Because as we
sounded
know
cool.
from looking at Quentin Tarantino's head, he is a demon from hell.
Well,
Or some
by
sort
the
of
way-
mutant.
The guy
And he-
there who's the fire chief, John Ring, on the left there, also played a fire commissioner in Lean on Me, 1989, and in the Blues Brothers, 1980. So his job
Was he a
was,
real
I'm going to
fireman?
play the fire chief.
Was he like a real fireman that was like, I'm retired from the department, but I love this uniform?
Yeah. I'm just doing this because my pension sucks.
Now, as somebody in the technology field, the guy from Con Ed that's like, I've never seen anything like this, that would be my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
He says, this guy reminds me of popcorn. You Jimmy, do your job, pencil neck.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
So
New
after
York accent.
this actor did this movie, everywhere he went, people hated him, shouted at him, "Dickless!" He couldn't get into a bar or pub or restaurant. This is brilliant. This and the echo on the song as well. The slight echo just makes it even more atmospheric. This track,
Yes.
brilliant track. This.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
who sung it, but people who bought the soundtrack will know who performed the track.
You know what? I've got the soundtrack. I'll go dig it up. I think I have it downstairs. I have a two-story trailer. I'll have to see
The
if I've
stack, as they call them. The mix stack.
Here we go. Do 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 do. And there was
and even this
there was
holds
a lot
up
of
pretty
movies
well.
in the 80s which was about the end of the world, wasn't it? This is one
Um,
of them, and what the end of the world would look like.
Beautiful rainbow neon.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there you go. That's what we have now, darling.
I don't remember as many of them in the 80s being about the end of the world. The 90s, as we approached the year 2000, there were a lot of end of the world
The
things.
90s were just crap. They're just
There
full
was
of
a
recrimination.
lot
The
of
90s is
crap.
where the PC movement really started to get going in Britain.
There were still
Well, the
a few
90s, they had
things
the
that were okay.
disaster movie revival.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Dickless was in a movie where he was buried in popcorn. Yes.
Hey,
Which
is
one
this
was that? Was
the
that Die
Laser
Hard? I'm not
Beam in
sure.
the Sky movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at that. Here we go. What is
Yeah.
this track called?
I don't remember.
Fantastic piece of music.
It is on the
This
soundtrack
is
for
it.
certain.
This is the movie that started the Laser Beam in the Sky. That's in every movie now.
And this is a really good special effect. I mean, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, you know
This is
what?
the best special effect in the whole movie.
I think it is called just Magic.
I believe in magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Do you have
I
who
believe in
do you have
magic.
who recorded it handy? Oh, this
This
taxi
whole
guy.
scene is brilliant.
This taxi guy.
The
Oh,
taxi.
he's my favorite.
Great
part of the whole
practical
movie.
effect.
The taxi.
Yeah.
So amazing.
We've all had a taxi driver like that.
Yeah, love that.
I should use sunscreen.
And again, they copied this whole routine in the second movie, didn't they? When the Titanic turns up. Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
better late than never.
There's a return of Slimer. He's out.
As John Belushi will. Again.
Now, and coming up for the scene with Dana Barrett's apartment, I know it's a composite shot, because that building
Yeah.
obviously didn't exist. But you know, you got the matte painting for it, and the way that they integrated in the set piece with it, absolutely fabulous. You know, that's just and now it's all just CGI, which CGI has hit the point where it's good, but you don't appreciate what they were able to do back then.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just like her window blowing up is just a set in front of a backdrop,
Yeah.
like all in camera.
I believe It's Magic is by Claudius Mix.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Didn't really hear anything else from them in the 80s, but
No.
I did a Laserdisc version of this, which the director didn't like because it was so high definition you could tell the matte paintings were so obvious.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the problem with HD stuff now.
Well, the promise I make to you guys is I will break out my vinyl, because I have this soundtrack on vinyl. I will break it out on vinyl and rip it. So,
Cool.
back in the day, man, I had this going.
You know that
She sleeps above her covers. 4 feet
Sigourney
above
Weaver
her
actually
covers.
auditioned for this role by barking like a dog. I'm not kidding you.
Well, and I'm trying to think. She had, because I remember reading an interview where she said that it was odd because she was an actor that had more experience than anybody else on the set in movies. So, you know, it was really odd for her because I think her breakout was Alien. And then, you know, this. And then, of course, Aliens was 87, I think. So.
Yeah.
And for folks that are keeping up, Peter Venkman just began singing in the cleanest jail in New York.
You see, I'm telling you, this is a musical this movie wanted to be a musical.
Yeah, 1 hour and 13 minutes and 3 seconds. I promise you, if you go to jail in New York, a holding cell is not this nice. Don't ask me how I know. Oh,
this was a haunted jail as well. Did you know?
Oh, it's the guy from Urkel and Die Hard.
Die
It's the
Hard.
cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! What's his name?
There's 4 cast members in this movie who actually went on to star in Die Hard.
Oh my gosh!
Reginald Bell?
What was I going to say?
Yeah, what's his name?
God.
Reginald Bell Johnson.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
I am the gatekeeper. This is a child-friendly movie, and look what
Yes.
we have.
Avert your eyes,
That scene
children.
is amazing. Like
Rick
it looks like
Moranis.
they're actually on
is.
top of the building.
Yes.
That
Isn't that
backdrop
great?
is perfect.
Yeah, that's a great background. And yeah, you know it's a set,
Yeah.
but it does. It looks like
Yeah.
you're looking out a window in New York. And Rick Moranis
Until
has
she
his fro
stands up,
going
you
on.
can see the line along the furniture. But other than that, it's unreal. So good.
Rick Moranis looks like I am the
Yes,
luckiest
that's
man
right.
in the world.
Bingo.
Persistence plays off. But yeah, Bill Murray retired from acting for 4 years after this, and didn't star in another movie again until Scrooged.
Oh, really?
Huh.
So here's Giuliani, or the standard Giuliani mayor
Yeah.
type.
Oh, yeah, Lenny.
It was a downfall because he was the president a few years before
Yeah.
in Superman 2.
Wait a minute. Was this a
Isn't he the same guy
was
that played
this
the
a
president in
Giuliani?
Superman?
No, this wasn't Giuliani. This was what's his name? The guy that was before him. Shoot.
Oh
shoot.
yeah.
He was mayor forever. I'm sorry, the Scotch
Yes.
is interfering with
Oh,
my
yeah.
shoot.
There's the line.
Yep, there's my favorite line. That's what I heard.
I'm definitely
The
not an
walls
actor.
in the 53rd precinct are bleeding.
Oh, here's the cardinal, and he's like, what has he got to say?
How are you, Lenny? And of course he's Irish. You could do the face slap.
Uh,
Oh, here we go. Winston comes up. Nice. Ernie Hudson's
Yep.
moment to shine. And Bill Murray does the ultimate sales pitch.
there you go. Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, but he hits him where it hurts here in a sec. Living together as hysteria. What if you're wrong? If I'm right. Lenny. Save the lives of millions of registered voters.
There's the
Bingo.
golden phrase.
And this
But
is
considering these ghosts are dead people, the alternative is don't do anything and they can all vote for you in the next election.
why. That's another good point.
If he's Democrat.
That's another good point. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's New York, and he's in office, so
Yeah, he's got to be Democrat at that point. Yeah.
Oh, out comes
Because
the
when he
National
said
Guard.
this is now called the cute meet. Yes,
Oh,
the cute meet between the keymaster and the gatekeeper.
Ooh.
This is another great track from the movie. This
Oh.
one,
Saving the day. Yes, I remember that one.
saving the day. Brilliant.
I don't remember who did it, but yeah. Oh yeah, the siren they chose for Ecto 1 was fabulous.
I'm getting the tingle factor. Just
Oh dude,
listen
yeah.
to this. This
Which is
constant tingle factor. Woo!
Oh, it's fabulous.
There's more punks there.
Yeah, more punks. You got
There's the Orthodox Jews praying.
Yeah, Orthodox Jews praying.
Is that Ringo Starr?
Talking about that, the Polish actress Bill Murray used to take the mick out of her because when she said her line of "choose and perish," her accent made it sound like she was saying Jews and berries.
Oh, jeez.
Jews and berries.
Jews and berries. I sure am
Jews and berries.
While Bill Murray is kissing babies in the audience, I did go and blast away at some paper with lead and gunpowder this afternoon. And one of the gentlemen at the facility was a Brit, Pete. I did not catch what area he was from.
Freedom.
Yeah, but I was pretty impressed. I apologize. I did not catch what area he's from originally, but he did the accent at first, and I thought, oh, that's pretty good. You know, it's a pretty good British accent. And then he kept talking in it, and I was like, oh crap, he's really a Brit. So
you're like, how does it feel holding high caliber freedom in your hand, sir?
Exactly. The smell of freedom every time you walk out on the range, my friend. Got my first round with an M1 Garand today. That was a lovely experience. Love that weapon. Okay, but now
every time I put a 44 Magnum, I know I'm an American.
Ooh, no. I'm telling you, buddy. M1 Garand will never be beat.
We've got the Godzilla moment. They've disappeared underneath the road, but when they get there, the crowd is there, and it looks like there's an element of realism, isn't it? Because it looks like it's more of a documentary, and it's the same kind of thing they did in Blues Brothers, isn't it? Where they had like the auditorium filled with people, and it looked like it was because it was a real concert. They invited people in, but
yeah,
the same for this. The extras who came along, it feels like it's real rather.
Oh, absolutely.
It's got a feeling of authenticity to it, like it's a, you know.
Well, and that's it. You know, you can do it right.
Well, that's what I always thought. Like the Marvel movies missed was you never see crowd reactions from people.
Yeah.
Where you know there'd be crowds everywhere watching that stuff happen.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be an idiot out there with his phone in portrait mode recording it.
Yeah. And they never had that. And in the old Marvel comic books, you always had the guy in the office like, "Oh my God, look out the window."
Yeah.
Well, and that's just
Did you
realism.
see that thing just bust through my window? Oh my goodness!
Oh gosh!
Oh, my cab just got crushed. It's like the movies have none of that.
There's a missile heading my way. Let me film
disconnect.
it. This will be great for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And
you get
the total
now, and it's always cheesy. But you just don't have the natural, like, oh my goodness, what is that in the sky?
All right. And I've got to
this
give
is
it
the
to this.
total opposite to that cheery scene. Like,
the cheery tune.
I just love the stairwell.
Yeah, I was gonna say the stairwell. That's a nice map. They worked that in well.
We're gonna catch the look on. We're gonna catch the look on Rick Moranis' face when he gets up.
Absolutely, the luckiest man in the world. That smile.
Yep.
As I have said many times in my life, at the end of this, one of us will be happy.
Can you believe we're almost at the end of the movie?
Oh yeah, this movie just zips along, man. It's great.
Flies
the pacing.
by.
There's not much fat at all on this movie.
Not at all.
Hang on. I just lost. Holy cow. I just lost my stand for my phone. Give me a second here, gentlemen. I have to break out some Gorilla Glue here once we get done with the stream. I'm still with you. I'm just trying to be quieter so people can enjoy.
Yeah. Another matte painting there.
And that's just that's the matte painting I was talking about. It's just amazing. It's a lost art. Yeah, I realize
Julia Roberts was considered for the role of Dana.
Julia
That wouldn't have
Roberts
worked.
this early? Really?
Julia Roberts doesn't have the spooky factor, you know, like Sigourney Weaver already had that established kind of weird horror, spooky vibe, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, and more than that, she was a much more established actress at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when they went with the right choice. I like Julia Roberts, but yeah.
Ew. She was even thought of?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for Dana.
Because she would have
Only
been.
Sigourney is perfect because she's 6 foot tall.
There's another meld coming up. Not the best meld, but morph. But
Yeah.
At the time, I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And I think that one still holds up pretty well.
Yep.
So, she's the dog.
So any flaw in the editing is covered by the lightning.
Yeah.
I was watching
exactly.
the really bad Predator movie from just a couple of years back, and
God help
it's
you.
the one with the Predator dogs.
Yes, I'm
and that
sorry.
was awful, and I can see where they got the idea from.
The absolute.
So this is the Great Seal.
Yes.
This is the Illuminati coming to Earth.
Okay. I have to pop this in. The worst travesty is if you look up The Thing on Amazon or whatever provider you use to catch your movies, and you have to make sure that you look at The Thing from the 80s, because The Thing from the 2000s has the same name.
Is awful.
Is awful. They had
Yep.
And what I understand is they had practical effects set up, but then they ditched all of the practical effects and went with CGI, which destroyed the movie. I don't understand that at all.
Just a random producer's like, make it CGI.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ray's speech here. The city, county, and state of New York.
Yeah.
And, and that's the thing is Ray is a klutz, and he's a dimwit, but he is so earnest as a character. Then die. Nice little cutaways to the monsters.
Yeah.
And I believe it is Winston, that the character of Winston, that comes up with the rebuttal to Ray, the advice for next time.
Yeah.
That's what makes Ray such a good character, because he's so pure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's just like, all I know is to be honest.
He is the everyman, because he's injected into this insanity, and he is the one that is providing, from the audience, what we would be reacting like if we were in there. He was so underutilized in this, because I remember in the 80s, I was like, nah, the Ghostbusters are the three main guys. Winston, whatever. But through the years, I've come to appreciate his character a lot more. He just didn't get enough. He didn't get enough screen time. And from what I understand, he had a big backstory about how he was in the military, he was in the special forces, this and that and that. But it was just, it was cut. It wound up on the cutting room floor just due to time specifically.
It's probably one of those things they would have redone now, because a lot of movies use the audience as the through character.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is I think you're right now, and there's no fat on this movie. I think they could have fleshed it out a little bit for Ray, but it works so
But this was
well.
back when time limits run movies, though, too. This is like over 120 minutes. You have no movie. We're cutting the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
Like they were so strict about time. You didn't. This was pre Lord of the Rings. There were no
Yeah.
3-hour movies.
Yeah, you're shooting for 90 minutes. Get in, get out.
Uh huh. Yeah, your
you're-
movie was 95 minutes, or it was 121. 122 was like, you're pushing it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That was usually like a Bond movie or something that was longer than 2 hours.
Well, and to be fair, they had to keep up with people like Roger Corman, who was making movies for like $12 on a weekend.
For 85 minutes and done.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Roger Corman.
And on VHS the next week.
Yeah, exactly. Next week on VHS for $14.99.
And berries.
I mean, that's probably another thing that makes this movie such a classic. Besides it being huge in theaters, this was like the height of home video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
This is when video stores started coming out.
Yeah.
So people started renting videos about this time.
The choice is made.
This is like the impossible moment. It's reverse psychology. Don't think of a bus.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You have to think of something. If we think of J. Edgar Hoover's going to come out and kill us. And of course, it's Ray.
Yep.
Yeah, and coming back to your point, Flash. Yeah, and people don't understand at the beginning of the video craze, movies were going for $80 and up as an average. $80 was about the average. And it wasn't until Top Gun came out in late '86 that the $20 movie
that's when
was introduced.
Yep.
Because I remember
I was going to say, because even in the 80s, they were still, you didn't buy them, period.
Exactly. And that's 1980 $80, which was, you know, that was like
hundreds.
Yeah, that was like half a week's worth of groceries today. So, yeah. Because you could $80, you could go buy 2 weeks worth of groceries for a family of 4 easy. So it was a big expenditure. And I'm sorry.
And here's the incredible irony of the nicest smiling person ever is actually a destructive god.
Well,
they created Mr. Staple for the movie, didn't they? It was
yeah. He is a
I'm sure
original
Pillsbury
IP.
was like, no, you're not using Pillsbury.
It was a
no more.
cross between Mr. Pillsbury and something else. I forget now.
And I hated this at the time.
Yeah, just the smiling faced monster.
Yeah, I hated this at the time because I was a kid. I thought this is too silly on top of everything they've been doing, but it works so well.
It was the Michelin Man, and
yeah. And this was another image that's like seared in everyone's mind from Ghostbusters is Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, nobody steps into church in my town. And then they hit him with the proton packs and
yay marshmallow.
Yeah, that's right. Yay marshmallow. They light him
up,
they catch him
marshmallow.
on fire, and yeah, exactly. He becomes a giant s'more climbing up.
Just like Camp Winnipeg. Was it Camp? What was this?
Oh, what was it? Camp Kanogi or something like
Wampa
that?
Pangy or something. I don't know.
And he's a sailor. He's in New York. We get this guy laid. He's all right.
Oh, it's such a good scene of it climbing up the building on fire.
Well,
and it would be
the miniatures in that
marshmallows burn like the sun.
Yeah. Well, and you know,
that latex suit mimics a marshmallow perfectly.
Exactly. It's a great nod to the
latex is made of marshmallows.
It's a great nod to the Godzilla movies, the way they did the miniatures and everything with Stay Puft. Love it.
Yeah.
And they're flawless. Like when you see him look up at him from the street.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. Great.
perfect.
Great shots. Egon has introduced his plan, which is to cross the streams, and there is definitely a slim possibility. Mr. Stay Puffed is cresting the top.
So
We're
good.
at 133.53. Vinkman's just launched his first stream. and I'll give them the proton packs. You know, it's cheesy, but it's intentional cheesy. So they hold up well.
Yeah.
Although I never understood, you know, the crossing the streams, they all wraps around each other. That's kind of weird. Love the Stay Puffed, the explosion scene at the top. Stay Puffed, kind of the nuclear blast burned out from the inside look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
And this
clouds
is where
clear.
everybody's covered in shaving cream.
Yes, and here it comes. Peck is about to get his.
Huge laundry bags of shaving cream was dropped on the crowd.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, that is so much marshmallow cream coming down on him right now.
Good stuff.
And then the aftermath.
Yeah.
Are our guys okay? Let's see, who's first? Is that... Oh, that's Stance first.
And then Bankman's like hardly got any on him.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it, man. That was...
his contract. He's like, if I get slime, I don't get shaving cream.
Well, and that was just the piece de resistance when Vinkman comes out and he's got just like a little bit on his shoulder and stuff.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Everybody else is just covered head to toe in it. Now let's check on Dana. Smells like barbecued dog hair. That paints a picture.
On the upside, if we all had full heads of hair, we have plenty of hair moves.
Oh, very much. Oop, oop. And then a hand appears. A wild hand has appeared. A little bit of the, and like you,
We know,
Pete,
we know that Peter
swelling
Venkman
in.
didn't get together with Dana because Dana ended up marrying the violinist she was seen with earlier and giving birth to the baby.
I
Yeah.
mean, but would you? After
Oscar.
what you saw her turn into a dog and be possessed by the devil?
Yeah, to be honest
that would,
though,
like every time you went on a date, she'd be like, "What are you thinking, Peter?" And you're like, nothing."
yeah, but you know, you gotta be
Scared
honest.
to death every time I look at you.
Oh, gotta come back to Pete's point. The music, you got Dana's theme very strong here. Swelling,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful strings. And to be fair, I
That's
don't think
not
the
the
problem
only
was
thing
Dana.
swelling. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Oh, Garfield.
Oh, the super's gonna be pissed.
Because Matty says he always gets buried in snack food.
Well, you know, there are worse ways to go. Oh,
So
and
did we
of course,
see Dickless getting covered in marshmallow?
Rick Moranis.
So you
who
know
does your
everything's back to
taxes.
normal because Rick Moranis. Who does
Yep.
your taxes?
Exactly.
Yeah, can I take a sample of your brain, please?
Yes, that's a great line.
I love this town!
There you go, Ernie Hudson with it, and then the post scene where they come out, the crowd's going wild,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you get Ray
And you
Parker
know that-
Jr.
This could be a pop video, couldn't it? It could be a music video. And the way that the 1980s movies, mid-80s movies, were filmed very much like pop videos in sections. Like I think of Highlander as the same sort of thing, you know?
Well, to be fair, I think if I remember right, Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters video had not only scenes from the movie, but had cameos from Bill Murray and Dan
Yeah.
Aykroyd at a minimum.
That's
So
It
where the
had
dance came from.
loads, didn't it? It had loads of people in it. It had all of the people who were almost in the movie.
yeah.
Oh, it has like every Hollywood person making a cameo.
Oh
Even
yeah,
Columbo.
yeah. Just saying Ghostbusters as
Who
the
you
trend
gonna
of the
call?
movie.
One more thing. Because all those people are like, I'm going to do that video because my kids love that movie.
Exactly. And then, of course, Rick Moranis saying, I want to go with them. And he's hauled off to somewhere else as they load up the proton pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ernie Hudson didn't get what he deserved.
By the
out of
way,
this,
did
but-
anybody realize the irony of Rick Moranis' character, Lewis? It was the keymaster, but yet he gets locked out of his own apartment 3 times.
I did not, but that's perfect. Yeah. Louis Tully, locked out of his apartment. He's the keymaster. Perfect. I need to get drunk beforehand, not in the middle of the movies.
Yeah.
You got people. I'm looking for Hare Krishnas because they were very.
And you're getting the
big in
merch at
80s.
the end there as well, by the way. So,
Oh, yeah,
actually
there should be at least
showing
200
the
Oh, yeah,
Krishnas, right?
Elmer
Yeah.
Bernstein.
You have 4
Yep.
punk rockers, 3 Hare Krishnas, 1 mouthy cabbie.
Yeah,
Because when he says, I love Highlander, but it's a kind of movie music video. It is, and it's also a
It
kind
was
of
shot
magic.
by a video director.
Yeah.
yeah. Highlanders.
Here comes Slimer.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Highlander's amazing. Very, very little
Clean-
of that was shot in New York, and you would never know it.
Cleaning up the town. Who was this? This was shoot.
This is probably Dan Aykroyd's friend, right?
No,
horrible
I
song.
can't remember the name of the band.
Yeah.
Now. All right. I'll follow up with this with some stuff with from the album. I know I have the album downstairs. I'll just have to dig it up. All right. And as we roll through the credits, what do you think, guys? This one hold up through the years?
Absolutely, and then some.
Yeah, I've got to say
this is it's never going to go out of fashion. It's never going to go cheesy. This is always going to be fresh, this movie.
Well, and I've got a behind the scenes, a little bit of in real life stuff. Mrs. Ralph and I took Thing 1 and Thing 2 to the theater to see this at AMC for one of the anniversaries for it. They also came out of it loving it, so any age group can go in, see this movie, love it, and appreciate it for what it is. It holds up surprisingly well.
Yep.
So, even my kids enjoy it.
It hits all. It hits. It's one of the best movies ever. It hits all of the things it needs to hit, and it has that quality of really touching the human story. It's like it's real. It's authentic. You can really connect to it. It's about human life, human struggles, weird stuff in life, and just the reality of life, getting on with life and meeting challenges. And even though it's about fantastical things, it's really about getting on in life and winning at the end of the day.
Well, and it's the characters that just the characters are so relatable that I think it transcends the generations. So yeah. I'm right there with you, because I know we took our daughters to see The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They didn't appreciate it as much. It's a Western, so they're not as into Westerns. but this
The music
translates
as
much
well.
better.
It's an it it's a lot more than people give it credit for. This is a much bigger movie than
Yeah.
on the surface. It's a blockbuster. It's the soundtrack makes it even bigger. It's a human story, and because Matty says I've seen this so many times it never gets old, and that is
No,
fact.
exactly, and I'm right there with her. Because and this is what when you talk about lightning in a bottle, it's when people go out to just make a movie. It's their passion. They pour their spirit into it, and it connects with the audience. That's what we mean by lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And as Flash pointed out, like Ghostbusters 2 or movies after that, where they said, okay, they did this, they did this, they did this, we'll do it, and it doesn't connect. That's exactly how they fail. They don't understand.
Well, because you can't create a happy accident.
No,
Like
exactly.
it's an accident because it's unplanned.
Exactly. And that's it. Because, I'm sure that when Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis sat down to write this, they were like, okay, yeah, it's going to be goofy. Yeah, we'll make a few bucks off of it. It'll be fun. They had no idea that they would make something that 30-something years, 37 years later, people would still be saying, oh, well, this is a classic. This is great. This is, a
And that's
historical
kind of
moment.
the magic of it too, because if they thought that it would be big, it probably would have been a horrible comedy movie.
Yeah.
Or a
Absolutely.
horrible horror movie. It
And
wouldn't
that's
have been like all the above. It would have
Exactly.
been probably an all-out, like silly, bad comedy that people would have forgotten in a week.
Yeah, right there with you.
It wasn't formula. There was so many ideas that they threw away, but it was the fact that they were trying new things, and they weren't repeating old formulas. Yes, they had classic elements like a fantastic soundtrack.
Well, and the thing is, you're repeating formulas that never have anything to do with fantasy and horror. Hey guys, let's start a business. Let's sell our mom's house and start a business.
Yeah,
Exactly.
let's start a
Like,
business
that
where we
business
catch
just happens
ghosts.
to be hunting ghosts. Yeah.
Exactly.
But you could have made this script about anything that's like three friends starting like a candy store or any kind of store.
Yeah, because
Hey guys, let's be
it's
plumbing.
not widgets. Yeah, it's not widgets. It's magic. And
Just put
another.
an emoji on there of a ghost with a heart on. Is the ghost with a heart on or just a ghost? It's just a ghost. It looks like a heart, but there's a quick quote here I'm just going to quickly read from
please.
the trivia, which is, when filming the third act scene outside Dana's apartment building, production halted all the traffic on 65th Street and Central Park West. The major through streets and connecting streets in New York City all halted. The resulting traffic jam backed up all the way to Times Square and all the way to the river. And at one point, the production was told they had to shut down 60% of the traffic in Manhattan. And Ramis recalled that he was taking a break with Dan Aykroyd one day while he was shooting on Central Park West. And Aykroyd noticed Isaac Asimov, the famous science fiction writer, lived in the area at the time. And he was a big fan. And he saw him excited and called out to him and said, hey, Isaac. And he turned around and said, are you the ones responsible for this? Meaning the traffic jams. And Aykroyd said, yes. And Asimov said, it's disgusting. And then just walked away.
Never meet your heroes.
Okay,
or cause traffic that ruins their life.
Yeah, and you gotta kind of go into Manhattan. So for people outside the U.S., Manhattan is an island, and it is extremely densely populated. So I think the current New York, all the different boroughs are around 8 million people. Manhattan is it's an island, all connected with streets, and around Central Park, which is kind of in the middle of the southern middle part of Manhattan. Central Park West, of course, is on the west side. It's on the more affluent side, and when you disrupt traffic in Manhattan for millions of people that are commuting there daily, yeah, and New Yorkers are known to speak their mind. You're not popular at that time.
It is. It's a microcosm, isn't it? It's a world within a world, Manhattan.
Oh, absolutely. New York is its own environment.
Yep.
Like I said, it's been 20 something years since I've been there, so I'm sure it's different now. From what I understand, it's sliding more back into the 70s and 80s version of New York. But I have been up Central Park West. I have been by the oh shoot, where was John Lennon staying? Oh crap, I forget. I've been up by there. I've been up into Harlem, and yeah, it's completely different. For example, if you're gonna pay, I paid 40 something bucks a day for parking in Chicago. It's much more than that in New York. It is its own city, its own little place. There's no way I could ever afford to live there. Do not want to ever live there. Love you, New York, but I'm sorry, guys. I'll stay in Texas. But it is it is just a different place, and that's why you either love it or you hate it. And like Ernie Hudson said at the end of it, I love New York. If you're into that constant moving, constant vibe city, there's a reason why it says it's the city that never sleeps. You can always find something in New York. It's a unique place. So sorry I rambled a bit.
It's all right, but yeah, last year we're going to say something about what your feelings overall about the movie. You said it was a happy accident. I think you dipped out when Ralph said, "Will this movie ever get old?"
Oh, I don't recall then. My memory is that of a goldfish.
Well, yeah, and
it's amazing I can remember that.
It doesn't help that I'm 4 scotches in. Sorry, Flash.
Yeah, but I just think it's a timeless movie. It's never going to age.
Absolutely.
It's never going to. And the only thing you can criticize is the special effects, and really,
there's only a couple.
I can only criticize one scene. Of that.
Yeah.
Even, so.
Yeah, and that's what's terrifying.
And only half of that scene.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's fantastic about it is even going back through the lens of 40 years later or 35 years later, looking at the effects today versus then, most of the effects hold up extraordinarily well. There's a couple where it's like, okay, yeah, that was blue screened, but
there was loads of bits though that they threw away, extra bits that they threw away. Yeah, that you just wonder what would that have been like, the dream scene where he's dressed as a general.
Yeah,
and the ghost,
the Michael Jackson jacket.
It's like, what was that all about? There's loads of stuff they just threw away.
Maybe that was a nod back to Elvis through Michael Jackson somehow. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it could be. But I think they cut down a lot of stuff and cut out a lot of stuff, and like a lot of good movies, they went through a load of different stuff and just kept the best bits.
Well, and to be fair, yes, pacing. This movie moves. You're never ever bored. And in movies, modern movies, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw out a quick thing because I thought about doing a review of Army of the Dead, and I didn't do it because 3,000 other YouTube reviewers did it. But seriously, at the end of Army of the Dead, I was screaming out in the theater, just get to the credits, because it was so slow. And pacing.
I've seen so many movies in the past few years where I remember looking at my watch because I'm like, this is the last scene, right? Is this the last
Yeah.
scene? This got to be the last because
I-
it can't go on much longer. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm only 20 minutes in.
I wish
Yeah.
I wish I could remember. There is one that they came out with that was it's like psychedelic, and it's supposed to be like a different different kind of movie. And at the end of it, it was literally myself, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Ralph and myself sitting in the theater, and I literally stood up, flipped a bird at the screen, and said, "Just get to the credits, kill them, get to the credits, so I can go home."
Yeah, this is torture.
And you don't have this with Ghostbusters. It just moves along, and what the characters do makes sense. It's logical from a perspective of somebody on the outside looking in, viewing what's going on, and the whole thing. I'm not bored. I understand why they're motivated to do what they do. Beauty. I'm ready. I'm happy. I'll go out. I'd rather watch.
Mike says it. The Dakota. Is it the Dakota?
Oh, the Dakota. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Thank you, Cosmetti. Yes, John Lennon was in the Dakota building on Central Park West. Drove by there back. It would be roughly around late 99, 2000 is the last time I was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a picture on social media. I can't remember where, or somewhere on Discord, and it was a picture of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono sitting on a bum on the floor, and John Lennon standing there in his pajamas. And there's a maid remaking their Japanese floor bed, and the caption is, "When you're like a multi-millionaire, a communist."
Yes.
A working class communist who was so down to earth, you need to have a maid to make your bed.
Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of what John Lennon and Yoko Ono came up with, but they were solid New Yorkers, and going into
that makes me scared to go to New York.
Let me tell you, Pete, I love you, brother. New York is not America. So when you go to New York,
no, it's not.
No.
True. I was going to say, because I've never been, but everything I see about it, and especially Manhattan Island, it's not America. It's more like some sort of weird version of Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like Japan isn't Tokyo. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, very much. Yeah, Manhattan is its own special little place.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is its own special place. You can go in there. I've been through Brooklyn, seen the brownstones. It's a lovely place. The Bronx is kind of scary. Queens is kind of scary. But I've never been to Staten Island out in there. But Manhattan is a different place. New York is a different place. If you go to Manhattan or even upstate New York, Rochester versus Manhattan, or Westchester County versus Manhattan.
Is that where Yonkers is?
Where's Yonkers?
I just like the name Yonkers.
I think Yonkers
I'm going Yonkers here.
I'm going bonkers in Yonkers.
I'm wanting to say Yonkers is in one of the boroughs of New York City, but I can't swear to it.
Yeah.
Long Island.
Yeah.
If you're a New Yorker, Long Island is pronounced Long Island. Long Island is completely different. So New York State and New York City is completely different. And then you go to California or Texas or Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, anywhere else, you would not recognize it compared to New York, other than a semi-common language.
Fair enough. That is weird, but the setting for the movie, though, it's New York has inspired so many different movies, though, hasn't it? And because it's like that, because it's weird and wonderful, and different from it's like when America makes a movie set in New York, it's like America's trying to look at its own identity, so it picks the strangest place in America, which is New York. A bit like the way movies set in London do that, and
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
like because London is not like the rest of Britain.
That's a great comparison. Yes. Yeah.
But the budget for this movie, $30,000.
Are you kidding me?
Back in 1984.
30,000?
And it 30 million. I meant to say.
Oh, 30 million. Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to vote Democrat now.
Okay.
Since
yeah.
I can't do math.
Still, 30 million is still an impressive.
Sorry.
Still an impressive
Shall
budget.
Shall I do my Kamala laugh now?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Break out the flying monkeys.
So gross US and Canada 243 million,
Mhm.
but over the whole world 296 million. So 10 times the amount it made from the budget.
Yeah.
Highest grossing movie until 6 years later with Home Alone. It made 13.5 million in the first weekend on June the 10th, 1984. So 3 days ago. This is the 37th anniversary plus 3 days.
There you go. And
this is also today is the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes,
I was going to bring
is.
that up. I seriously put consideration into canceling this and going with Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I thought, no, we've already had this up.
This is, this is a comedy, and this is much more down your street, Comedy horror,
absolutely.
so-
But you know what? To segue, kind of sidebar a little bit. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember my mother coming to me and saying, "We're going to go see this movie," and me saying, "I don't care anything about that movie. I don't want to see it. I don't care anything about it." And I came out of the theater transformed. I was an Indiana Jones fan for life.
Yeah.
So if I can
Came out of the
take,
theater like mom,
yeah,
can I get a hat? Can I get a hat?
exactly.
Do they still do that?
I wanted a bullwhip. After we came out of that, I was like, I need a bullwhip. So, if I can
my
duct
dad
tape the
became a
potato
popular
together.
guy after that movie because he owned a bullwhip.
Oh, there you go.
Suddenly he was cool dad.
Well, I had the redneck version of the bullwhip, which was a bullwhip with a wooden handle, but it worked. And
I just remember my dad laughing at us kids who were like, "Oh man, that hat's so cool," and he's like, everybody wore those hats back then.
exactly.
I'll give my
He's
age
like, when
away
I was
as
a
well.
kid, everybody had that hat. It was nothing special.
No.
No,
But the kids in
I
the
still
80s and
want one,
90s, it's like, that's a special thing.
yeah, I've got to get one still. I'll give my age away and say that I also went to the movies in that year with my older brother, and he hated me because he wanted to go and see Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I didn't want to. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought the title sounded a bit boring, and I knew about James Bond, so I was determined I wanted to see James Bond, and my mother forced my older brother to take me to see For Your Eyes Only instead. So I went to see For Your Eyes Only, and retrospectively, I made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Because For Your Eyes Only is highly mediocre.
Well,
but the same year, I also went to see Time Bandits as well.
Oh, Time Bandits! That was great. That was great. I love that we watched that.
And I also bought the single. Children listening to this, single is a record that's like made out of plastic, and you put a
called
needle on it.
45. Yes, it's made out of vinyl.
And that was of the Vangelis theme for Chariots of Fire.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
Same,
That was
same,
a hit on the radio.
you know. And the thing is the only thing I remember out of Chariots of Fire is them running on the beach and the soundtrack from that song.
Yeah.
I absolutely watched it as a child, but that's it. The soundtrack
I think the soundtrack
overcame
sold
that.
the movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
the soundtrack was much more popular than the movie.
Also in 1981 was Superman 2. Oh, before me.
Superman.
Zod. Or if you're British, Zed.
Zed. Okay, now I'll give you Superman was great. Superman 2 was great. once you went beyond Superman 2, yeah, but
Yeah,
Hey,
it
don't
was
they kill
awful.
a kid in Superman
3 was
2?
all right. Richard Pryor, wasn't it? 3, but 4 was terrible.
oh
Is
And,
my
yeah,
memory wrong?
Huh?
Did
Kill-
they killed a kid and his horse in Superman 2?
I don't remember
Did
that.
they?
Like there's like the teenager and the army guy's like, go get help. Our cars are all broken, and he has the horse and he rides off, and you see him throw like a missile,
I'll have
and
to
the horse goes over the ridge, and there's like an explosion.
I'll have to
Oh,
review
all right.
because I haven't watched that in years, but
Let's
you
hear
may
it.
very well be right. But I just
Well, you had
I,
Cannonball Run was on that year as well. Cannonball
Oh.
Run.
I remember Cannonball Run,
oh
and
dude,
all the imitators to it too.
dude, Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
See, Superman 2
Captain
would be
Chaos.
good for your channel. Cannonball Run would be good for mine, Pete.
Definitely. Well, there's 3 or 4 movies. What about Convoy though? Convoy was much better than Cannonball Run.
Convoy was
This-
good, but I remember it being it was kind of a downer toward
Convoy
the
doesn't
end.
hold up.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
it on YouTube. It was terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cannonball Run
it's
though,
it's such of its time. It's
Yeah.
not like Ghostbusters. It doesn't
No.
age.
and
That's
It's
it.
aged.
and
Yeah,
also
it's already
It's not everything.
also for you kids out there, Dick in Comics kind of borrowed Captain Chaos for his setup. So
Yes.
not
He's from New York. Linked
oh
to this movie.
oh yes
Oh,
yes
yeah,
he's
we
from
would
Long
call that
Island,
ripped off.
Island.
Yeah. And
So-
the only other big movie from that
Or as
year,
lawyers would call that, I
is-
can't put out my comic because Burt Reynolds' companies will sue me.
so-
for
yeah, the
stealing
estate,
these
the Reynolds estate.
The
The
Reynolds
Arthur.
Reynolds
estate.
Louise estate will sue me to death.
The original Arthur movie with Dudley Moore.
You know, yeah, Chris. I'm sorry if your name is Christopher Cross. You just give up. You need a better stage name.
God.
Oh,
All
that
right.
was Christopher Cross.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Now and
Yes.
yeah, I was not a fan. I was not a fan of Dudley Moore. I was somewhat a fan of Being There simply because it had the Biltmore Mansion in it, which is just an
Ooh.
absolutely
Guess-
gorgeous place.
Oh.
We should do this on your channel.
Which
Guess
one?
what else came out in this year?
Hit me up.
Sorry, the where are we now? Sorry, not the 1984, the 1981, same year as Raiders of the Lost Ark. So in August there will be the 40th anniversary of this movie. It is An American Werewolf in London.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Yeah.
That's 81.
Okay.
August 21st, 1981.
And I remember that. You know what? I watched that
I
not.
see a bad moon rising.
Yeah. I watched
David.
that not
David,
too
kill yourself.
long ago. The special effects
Now
hold
the
up.
special effects for it when he turns into a werewolf, it's just
Yes.
like, what?
That,
That
was
was groundbreaking at the time.
absolutely groundbreaking. You know what? Yeah, we should probably do that. I'm sorry.
And something that I mean, it's probably done before, but not many times. But you see, when it goes in the London Underground, you see it from the werewolf's perspective. Not the
Oh
victim.
yeah,
You see it
yeah.
from the werewolf's perspective.
When you see the
Um,
victim's perspective, you see like a leg.
Yeah,
you-
just
you
blood
see
everywhere.
part- And the wolf is kind of out of focus.
Yeah,
Like down that
Yeah.
stairwell. It's like
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, and,
Like you
and
see a blurry image kind of walk into frame,
yeah.
well, and I
and
think it
then
was.
you go straight to the wolf's POV.
Well, and you've got to remind everybody about the history of Piccadilly Circle as is it David that goes into the porno theater and he's introduced to all of his victims. So
Oh yeah, that's great.
That is weird.
Have you
so
tried
weird,
shooting
that
yourself,
movie.
son?
Yeah,
You could-
you know
yourself.
you
Oh,
got to
Philip.
kill
Yeah.
yourself, David. Come on. Just
But it
just-
is, isn't it? It's dark humor, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Uh-huh.
very
See,
gallows
again,
humor.
Oh,
It's like-
and you know, it was the same year. Was it the same year as well? The Howling.
Was
Yeah.
the Howling
which is
81?
another. If you watch it as a child, you're like, "This is the scariest movie I've ever
Yeah,
seen."
yeah.
When
Oh,
you watch it as an adult,
absolutely.
you're like, "Oh my god, this is the funniest movie ever made."
And
Oh,
this is it.
okay.
They did everything slightly different. It wasn't an out and out horror. It was
Yeah,
let's put an edge on this. And
Well, yeah, and the big
you
thing
know,
was
there was
American.
much more imagination then.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And the big thing is you're exactly right. American Werewolf in London. I remember going through Fangora magazine, and
yeah.
for you kids out there, a magazine is something that came periodically, usually monthly, which included
Yes.
paper pages, photos, interviews with people, things like that.
And
But
what you
I
did is
remember,
you went to this thing called a store, and you
yes,
handed over these things called dollar bills
yeah, or a
to the
library.
man.
Yeah, sometimes you could get
When
them
you
at
went
a
to
library.
the library.
Yeah. But yeah, Fangora magazine had like in-depth stuff on how they did the transformation scenes. Yeah, it was absolutely groundbreaking. All practical effects, and you guys know that's my thing. I just love practical effects. So yeah, I think American Werewolf in London got to
Rick
go there.
Baker was a household name.
Oh yeah, and it just, man, I love so many things from the 80s. And when people do stuff now that I love, don't get me wrong, I'll give CGI its due. Monster Hunter, I think that was
Oh
it.
yeah.
What was the one? Was it Monster Hunter with oh shoot, what's her name from Resident Alien?
Oh,
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mila.
Yeah.
The CGI in that was great. They had some of the best looking CGI monsters I've ever seen. The story was,
is it because the monsters were cool looking too? Like they're creatively designed, so that
Yeah.
kind of adds to it.
yes, they were
Skip-
creatively
skip
designed.
the
They didn't use
future.
like stock dragon.
Well, the big thing was they had you felt some of the depth from them. A lot of the times you'll see a giant CGI monster. It doesn't seem like it has weight and mass to it.
Yeah.
No.
Theirs felt like it did. The story lacked, but when I went and saw it, it was passable. It was a good popcorn movie. But
So they did hand animation probably then. Like
maybe to me it
what was
looked all
the-
CGI, but it was
with,
good CGI.
yeah, but they did it by hand. They didn't do it like let a program just do it.
Oh.
They actually went in by hand and designed each frame to give it weight.
Probably so.
Like they did with what's it, Pacific Rim.
Yeah, not to be
Like
confused.
Pacific Rim, like every time the robot walks, you feel it. Like
Yeah.
it's so good.
And that's a good point. Yeah, not to be confused with hang on a minute. The Amazing
gone,
Bulk.
by the way. Good night, fellas. She said.
Good night, Cosmetti. Thank you
Chatting.
for joining us. Yeah, not like The Amazing Bulk, which is the worst movie, the worst CGI movie ever made. I'm going to have to break out a few of those just because things like The Amazing Bulk is just ridiculous. Lichen Colony.
I'll tell you which movie does the CGI really well. Well, it's fairly recent. I think it's only about 2 years old, and you should
Birdemic?
watch it. It's called The Troll Hunter, and it's a Scandinavian movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So watch it in the original Scandinavian because there's a horrible dub of it. Watch the sub. Instead.
Yeah, do the
And,
subs.
And we're talking about horror, which mix in a bit of comedy. This is one of the most hilarious satirical movies you'll ever watch. It's so clever.
Good.
It's like Monty Python meets a horror movie. It's really funny. It's hilarious in parts, but also actually quite scary as well. Right towards the end, it's really scary. So it is. It's excellent. Really good movie.
I've got to ask you. I'm assuming it was tension building instead of jump scares, since you said it was good, right?
Yes, tension building exactly. But it's just so well done. It's hilarious, and it's all done in the style of this. Trolls are real, and all the different grades of troll are real. and it's just fantastic. I won't spoil it too much for you.
Well, the
But go back
trolls look
very quickly.
amazing
Go back.
because they look like
Oh yeah,
the
they look like
actual
caricatures,
like
don't
Norse
they?
myth, where they're like, some of them look like rocks, some of them look like trees. They're all
Yeah,
mingled and odd looking.
and they're after the big one, which they find right at the end, which is the Mountain King. And the irony is, planning permission for the overhead power lines, and the reality is these overhead power lines are a fence, a huge electric fence to keep the trolls in. That's the joke. But very quickly, 1984, top 10 movies, Beverly Hills Cop. So Eddie Murphy left Ghostbusters to go and do Beverly Hills Cop, and that became a bigger movie, made slightly more money, very similar amount, 234 million compared to 229 million for Ghostbusters. Third top was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you had Gremlins, then The Karate Kid, then Police Academy, the original Police Academy,
84.
Footloose,
Yeah, 84
Romancing
had a
the
lot of good
Stone.
ones. Oh, that
You know
was a good
what
one.
I was thinking when you see Donna's Appointment, it reminded me of the what's her name's apartment in Romancing the Stone. Exactly the same kind of
Okay.
standard. And then
shoot,
number
shoot.
9 is Star Trek 3: Search for Spock, and number 10 Splash.
All great movies.
Wow.
I'm gonna give it that. I do want to throw out something, and I'm sorry, it's kind of a segue, but I want to do it before we move too far from where you brought up horror, because I want to give a recommendation, if anyone is still listening at this point, to A Quiet Place 2, because
Yes.
John Krasinski, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name right now. He actually understands building tension, and you actually care about the characters in the movie. I was extremely surprised, presently so, by what he managed to accomplish with A Quiet Place 2. Much better than I expected, and a good movie overall. So sorry.
I saw the first one. I was blown away by the first one, but I've been waiting so long for the second one to come out. I sort of gave up. It was a bit of a Red Rooster moment,
Yeah,
And
yeah. Oh, I absolutely understand. The second one is a recommend by me.
If you need Quiet Place 2, you can find it at Walmart, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's on all the end caps at Walmart.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people are talking about it because it's out now, and I'm going to go and see it. But I've been waiting so long to see it. I'm a bit annoyed that he's made us all wait so long. But at least it won't get lost in the mail. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I this is one that I definitely recommend. It's not Citizen Kane, but it is a good movie. There were a couple of parts where go ahead.
Sorry, one of the main features of the original movie. I was talking to a couple of people today about it, and we were talking about how it, which is unusual now. It's got that positive role model of a father. It's actually positive about males, and it's got a really positive male father figure role model who, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the original movie, but who makes sacrifices, shall we say, to protect his wife and family.
And to piggyback on that, into 2, his impact is carried over. I will spoil. I'm not spoiling a little bit. A lot of the focus in 2 is on his daughter. She steps up, and I think she does a very good job. And I forget the actor's name that is the adult second male comes in. He actually has a bit of a journey, and you see development in his character. You see development in the son's character. Because there was actually one point in the theater where I just hollered out, "Why are you doing this to the son?" The son's character. I'm like, this makes no sense. This is stupid. But you see evolution. But she stands out, and the male lead, the adult male lead stands out as well. So I think both of their performances really make it
So
worthwhile.
what you're saying is it the sequel that actually continues the story as opposed to just remakes the first one?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's unusual.
I know it is a shock in this day and age, but yeah, absolutely. I was
Yeah.
so pleasantly surprised with it that
That-
I know it's the Scotch talking,
Yeah.
but it's worth
John
worth seeing.
Krasinski
Yeah.
and his
He-
amazing wife.
I could thank stupid James Cameron because he's the one who ruined sequels forever.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Terminator 2 was a remake of Terminator 1. And after that, people are like, hey, remake the first one.
Yeah, and the
let's do
worst thing that
Terminator
happened in
3.
movies is franchises.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's when the land of franchises where the movies go to die.
Well, to be fair with Cameron, he did Aliens as a
Yeah.
sequel to Alien. It worked. He did Terminator 2 as a sequel to Terminator. Aliens was not a retelling of Alien. Terminator 2 was
No.
basically Terminator retold.
Thing is though,
But
the book of Starship Troopers has been out for a long time
yes.
Oh,
before
yeah.
the movie came out. I'm convinced that Cameron read that book because Aliens just to me seems like a reboot of Starship
It
Troopers.
is. I mean, they
No,
were
I
honest
mean-
about that when they made it.
Yeah. The thing about
That's why Cameron got in trouble with the first Terminator because it was a remake of a Outer Limits episode. And he
Right.
mentioned that in an interview. He's like, "Oh yeah, we remade an Outer Limits episode," and they're like, "Oh, well, we're suing you now."
well,
Yeah.
but the beauty of Starship Troopers is the cheesiness of Paul Verhoeven. You know, throwing in the propaganda stuff like he did in RoboCop and things like that.
Well, he grew up in World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Putting in the things he lived through as a child.
See, I didn't realize
Yeah.
he did that.
He was a Dutch child in World War II, so he was there when the Nazis were taking over.
See, and that's it. That's some of the charm of RoboCop and Starship Troopers. It's just the propaganda stuff, the ridiculousness,
Yeah.
the tongue-in-cheek laughter at some of the over-the-top stuff we're doing. So, I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, you gotta fight the Nazis, kids. When you got Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, and Daffy Duck all fighting Hitler, yeah, propaganda's on a new level.
Well, service does guarantee citizenship.
Yes, that's
Be a
true.
citizen.
And you want to be a citizen, right? Right? Go fight the
Well,
bugs.
he's right because I think the shape that the world will eventually take will be like Rome 2.
Yeah.
It will be very similar to Rome, and that's essentially what they're trying to portray. And don't forget the fascists modeled themselves on Rome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Good point.
that's it's not inconceivable. Inconceivable. But
Land War in Asia. Sorry, going back to another movie that we need to bring up, Princess Bride. Speaking of Andre the Giant,
yes,
And
to
your brother wanted to see
believe.
to Blave,
I tell you, to believe. Tell you what, we have to watch. We have to watch, and I tell you what we should do. We should watch Spaceballs,
yeah.
but criticize it as if we're watching a real Star Wars movie.
Oh, I'm cool. All right, do me a favor, Pete. Write all this down because I'm too drunk to. Because I'm completely on board with all this stuff.
There's at least 5 or 6 movies you need to get
Oh
on
yeah.
your channel.
Well, and
It's,
somebody
but
put
I mean
out
the anniversaries. Yep, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say somebody put out a thing on Twitter toward the end of last week, and they were like, "Shabbat Shalom, Wesley. You've done a great job," and blah 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 blah. And my reply back to him was, "La Hayam." So yeah,
man.
the Fiddler on the Roof, Princess Bride mashup. I'm all in for that. Yeah, no, that sounds
Definitely.
great. So I'll upgrade the potato. But I guess we ought to wrap it up now because we've put Cosmetti to bed. It's
Yes.
after almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast. First off, I love the movie. I hope that you guys did as well. What did you all think about Ghostbusters 1984, the original, the only Ghostbusters?
It was amazing, genius, and that all the other ones that followed are a sick dream, nightmare.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm, mhm.
I'll give
Well,
two they tried, but yeah, it just was
it was
not
no
near it.
Ghostbusters 2016. I don't even know why they tried to remake Ghostbusters 2016 with the guys
Yeah,
from SNL, but they did. But it was okay.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. Maybe someday Ghostbusters '84 will match up to Ghostbusters 2016, but
well,
One could
it,
hope.
yeah.
at least it's not as bad as Blues Brothers 2000. That is just a
Oh, that's
nightmare.
we don't discuss that abomination. Oh. Well,
Yeah,
guys,
that
thank you
is
for coming on the
too
channel.
painful for words.
Oh, absolutely.
George Lucas's Ghostbusters 2000.
I've got
I
this
think
great
before we
idea,
go,
guys.
we need to
We'll do.
before we
We'll
go, we
do.
need to shout who you gonna call. Who you
Oh,
gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Ghostbusters!
And I would suggest everyone go to YouTube and watch the Gimme a Break episode where Nell meets what's his name? Ray Parker Jr.
Right.
Oh,
Because
oh,
it has the most
yes.
cringe in jokes to Ghostbusters you'll ever see.
Oh, please do. Yeah. You
So
know
bad
what?
that even Ray Parker Jr. kind of like you can see him seething, looking at the camera like, "Oh God, I signed up for this."
Dude, please include that in a link below in the comments cuz oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. All of the movie tie-ins in the 80s were just the
Mhm.
definition of cringe. Oh, well, thank you all. Thank you all who joined to watch this live. I apologize for the technical problems we had. I promise I will upgrade the potato. Thank you to all who suffered through the technical problems on reviewings. But we very much appreciate you all joining in, and we hope that you enjoyed the movie. The whole reason why we do this is so that we can share movies that we love with you all, and hopefully spark some interest in some of the classics, some of the classic ways that things were done, and just an appreciation in cinema in general. So thank you all, appreciate it, and good night, folks. Oh, hey, before I'm sorry, before I cut out, Pete, where can people find you?
Yes. If they want to go to youtube.com/s/Pete McTubes. If you can
Yes.
remember that. Just search for Pete Mac on YouTube and it'll come up.
Yeah, and I think there's a link. If not, I will update it when I sober it up for the stream. What about you, Flash? Where can folks find you?
You can find me all lowercase elrod.elrod on the Instagrams. And a few nights a week, I've been going through Lord of the Rings with let me show you.
Edwin Boyett.
Ooh, yeah.
With Edwin Boyett on the Edwin Boyett channel, doing
Yes.
things like this.
Aloha, everyone.
Basically,
Sweet.
drawing my way through chapter by chapter of Lord of the
Is that-
Rings.
Beautiful.
Coming up on the stream there.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'll update the links to get those out.
First time I really rediscovered the books that way. So
Sweet. Well,
Sure.
thank you, gentlemen. And I apologize for the false alarm on the false exit. But thank you very much. And thank you, everybody
Yes.
that joined in. I
Hey,
hope that you all have
mouse
a
robot.
wonderful evening. And I will go collapse in my bed and sober up for the next stream. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Yes.